And welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today, I will be your host. Today's show, we are talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend. And basically, I'm going to give you my thoughts and reaction towards the game, the Rising Stars, the dunk contest, and the three-point shootout. Make sure that you press like and subscribe if you are actually checking this out on YouTube or Spotify. You can actually go ahead and follow the show on Spotify. You can also follow the show on YouTube as well. Want to go ahead and thank the fans out there who have listened to the show from a week-to-week basis and helped us drive content to the show. Want to go ahead and thank the sponsors out there who have put sponsorship on the show as well, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually jump into the content today. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much it's going to be my reactions to the NBA All-Star Weekend. And I guess starting off with the skills challenge to me, I think was pretty good. I thought that the skills challenge actually was probably one of the better things to see out there. I know that the Indianapolis Pacers pretty much won that one, in front of the home fans or whatever. And I just think that I like the piece to that. I think that it's gotten equally better each year, especially with the team aspect that it's actually thrown out there by Adam Silver. So I think that that's a really good look, I guess, for the NBA. And I think that, to be honest with you, that was probably one of the better events, like I said, in the NBA All-Star Weekend. Next up, I would say the dunk contest. So the dunk contest to me was, shout out to Mac McClung for winning it. But I just think that it's come down to the point that we want to see, I guess, people kind of not be scared to compete in it. Like, I would love to see like an Anthony Edwards in there. I would have loved to see like LeBron at his peak actually have gone in there. And, I just think that it's one of those things with the dunk contest. It's so tough because we have actually seen it before, right? And I think just looking at it, like, I'm not sure what the judges were looking at, but some of the dunkers I definitely think got robbed on their score. Like, especially when Mac McClung went over somebody, threw it to himself, and it like paused and then it went in. It's like I guess like I love what he did too in preparation for it. When they were asking, like, hey, what are you looking to do? He said specifically, make sure that you check on the slow motion, right? And I love that he did that, right? Because it showed me that he studied the dunk contest. He understands from a showmanship standpoint what you must do in the dunk contest to win nowadays. And so that's why I'm saying I got to give a shout out to Mac McClung. And even if Jaylen Brown would have won it, I would not have been mad about it. I like the fact that he tried to go for the D Brown, but he didn't necessarily go with the D Brown, because you got to go and you got to, put the hands over the face a little bit longer than he did. But I love the fact that he did the tribute dunk as well. So that was pretty good. I thought it was pretty special to see Obi Toppin's brother in there as well. I thought that he put down some good ones and things like that. Jaime Jaquez was actually the guy that I felt like he was my undercard, or probably surprised if he were to win it. He does have some sneaky athleticism. So, my only thing about the dunk contest is this. I just think that we should just go out there and try to find a way to entice these guys that are just elite game dunkers. And like, one of the guys that I would like to see out there would be like an Anthony Edwards. I would like to see a guy like Shea Gillis out there, some of that young upcoming talent. I'd even like to see Victor Wembanyama and see what kind of creativity he has, even though as big as he is, right? So, I'd like to see, some of the guys that, definitely have thrown down some good game dunks get out there, but taking nothing away from Matt McClung. He won the thing. I think that, again, what won it for him was just the showmanship. I like the fact that he did kind of jump over some people and things like that. And I think it's just one of those things where a perspective standpoint, when you look at it in slow motion and stuff like that, it probably does fulfill, probably what you would want out of a dunk contest. But unfortunately, you can't slow it down. You only see it in real time. So shout out to him. Next up, the 3-point contest. So shout out to Dame Lillard. I think Dame had probably the best All-Star weekend out of everybody, including winning the All-Star Weekend award in the game, and then also to winning in the actual contest. I believe that hasn't been done since 1998, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that he was able to do that, it was huge. And so, I just think that the 3-point contest, it was pretty interesting. I think that it was actually a challenging one because I think that 24-25, I don't think even advanced you there. So there were so many good 3-point shooters out there. And I thought it was pretty epic to see that Dame Lillard had to come down to the very last shot to win it. So that was pretty cool. And to also see him point at his clock as well. I think that was pretty spectacular to see Dame time out there. So I like the 3-point contest, and more importantly, I love the fact of what Steph Curry and Sabrina did after. Like, I think that was amazing. And it's that kind of twist that I would like to see probably moving forward in a dunk contest or something like that that would make it even more better. So I don't know if you have to add more contestants or have teams. I don't know what it is, but I like that aspect that they added that to the 3-point contest. But I think that was really cool. You got a chance to see one of the best shooters, or actually the two best shooters, in my opinion, out there in basketball, both from the women's side and the men's side. So that was extremely cool to see. And I think if you haven't, got a chance to watch Sabrina play in the Liberty game, definitely you should for sure go out there and check her out. Great shooter there. So I thought that she did a terrific job in coming out there and shooting that basketball. And so was Steph as well. I mean, he was quite the showman. I think he needed like two more to win the contest, and Steph in epic form did it. And the incredible thing about Steph is that, he only had that one round. He scored 29, and I think like the record is 31. And to go, how far the NBA 3-point contest has come, I think Larry Bird, when he won it and held up his one, right, with the warm up and everything, I think he only had 17 3-pointers in that one. So, that's just how good the NBA has gotten in 3-point shooting. So a testament there, a testament to Steph Curry, who probably is going to go down as the best shooter, at least in my lifetime at this point in time. I've seen a lot of them, but right now, Steph Curry, man, doing his thing, and shout out to Sabrina. So I thought that was really cool. Next up, man, talking about the Rising Stars game. So, I like the Rising Stars game. I thought that was quite interesting as well. To me, I think that you get a chance to really see what young talent is out there. I mean, they had three different teams kind of matched up here, and this is something that I'm going to kind of throw out there for the All-Star weekend here once I get ready to talk about it. But, you got a chance to see Victor Wembanyama. You got a chance to see Brandon Miller. You got a chance to see the young man for the Warriors. You got a chance to see Jaime Jaquez, Jabari Smith Jr., who I think is a terrific player for the Houston Rockets, Carson Wallace, an up-and-coming guy for OKC. But you can see that the league is now in a situation where the torch is certainly going to be passed to some very good players. Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Benedict Mathurin. A lot of guys are not necessarily paying attention to him, but he's been stellar ever since he entered the league last season. And he's really taken another leap here with this Indiana Pacers team. He did get the MVP of that particular event. And if you didn't watch it, it's more of a tournament style where basically both teams kind of play each other, get to a semifinal standpoint, and then you actually get into the championship. Team Jalen Rose team actually won it. That consisted of Jordan Hawkins. That consisted of Walker Kessler, Jeremy Sohan, excuse me, Shaden Sharp, who was supposed to be there, but Jeremy Sohan for the Spurs actually took over for him. Benedict Mathurin, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren actually were on that team. So very good players, man. You got a chance, like I said, to see just some G Leaguers as well. Amani Bates and those guys like that. Mac McClung was out there. They actually played pretty well, and they actually were in the finals. So that I thought was interesting because you saw the G Leaguers actually beat the team Paul Gasol, which everybody had picked to actually go and be in the finals. And that was Wembanyama, Miller, Jaquez, Smith, Carson Wallace, like all the major first round picks, and they actually got beat. So shout out to Mac McClung and those guys like that showing up. So that was really cool to see. And then lastly, man, just talking about the NBA All-Star game. And, much like everybody else out there who are NBA fans, I thought that it was just absolutely terrible. I just think that the bottom line is there was no defense played. And guys, I mean, I think we've all probably looked at some of the pickup games that these guys play in the summer, and we can honestly say that those games were probably more competitive than what we got in the All-Star game. And no disrespect to it, because you do get a chance to see how great they are as far as the athleticism. You get a chance to see how great they are as passers. You get a chance to see how great they are as shooters and things like that. But just the competitive nature in the game, it was really lacking. And I think it was a bit disappointing. I thought it was interesting to me that, it was an historic 211 points scored in this game. I thought that was incredible. That 211 points were scored in this one. And it just really, the guys who I thought were going to play well didn't play well. Like, take for instance, I thought Anthony Edwards might be the MVP of the game. He only played 13 minutes and only had 4 points. Shea Gillis did play pretty well. He had 31 points there for the West. I thought that he was going to have a pretty good game. But just a lot of the effort and stuff like that wasn't there. I thought it was interesting that Kawhi and PG had to come off the bench, even though that they're one of the better teams in the NBA in the West. And then on the Eastern side of things, Dame Lillard was just Dame. I thought that Dame absolutely deserved the MVP with the way that he played. He had 39 points. He hit a couple of shots from the logo and the All-Star logo, which I thought was pretty special. And it basically shows you, the type of shooting range that Dame Lillard has. And also, too, Giannis quietly had a pretty good game as well. And looking at Giannis's stats, he had 23 and 7. And it just really, I think, for Milwaukee Bucks fans and Doc Rivers, who got a chance to coach them, I think it's going to give the Milwaukee Bucks something to look forward to for the back half. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done because they do have the third hardest schedule in the NBA to finish off things. But certainly if they can carry on this momentum that Dame had there, I know getting acclimated to the offense and defensive principles have been challenging, but if he can play offense like he did in the All-Star game, certainly I don't think there's too many teams in the NBA that is going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. So, like I said, shout out to Dame. I thought that he absolutely put on a show, but I just think the All-Star game as a whole, as far as the competitiveness, was a fail. And my suggestion to this is that you saw the NBA Rising Star game, or if you didn't get a chance to see it, like I said, it breaks it down into 3 different teams. Maybe that the All-Star game wasn't as competitive as we would like it to be. Perhaps maybe we break it down into 3 or 4 different teams. That way that there's no all-star snubs. And maybe you do have those players just go to 20 or 30 points. And then you basically have a tournament style, right? And then at the end, they go for another 30 or 40 points or 20 points or whatever the case may be. But it's almost like playing a pickup game, but it's All-Star weekend, right? That way nobody gets snubbed. And that way also, too, I think it gets more competitive. And I think players are probably more fresher to play in that. Like, you're not necessarily doing a quarter format. You're actually just playing until you get to a certain point format. And I think that that's a lot of what they do in the summer when they're playing pickup basketball. And I just think that when you look at some of these open runs that they play in, it's a bit more competitive. And I'm thinking to get that showmanship along with the competitiveness, let's go ahead and cut out the quarters. Let's add more people out there. Let's, as a team wins, they get a chance to sit and rest. You get a chance to see other all-stars. And obviously they're going to put on a show with the alley-oops and all that stuff like that. But I think that there's a little bit more on the line because, again, you're only going a short amount of points there. And also, too, maybe you add in more charities as well. If there's more teams there, add in more charities that the NBA can give the charities to as well, which I think kudos for the NBA for that. But I just think that there's more ways to actually make the game competitive and also to exciting for the players to play in as well. So, that's my thoughts on the NBA All-Star Weekend and kind of my reaction, guys. Make sure that you are checking out the channel as we will be talking more NBA action here as they are slated to start up here on Thursday. Can't wait to break down some of the hotter teams out there in the West and the East. And before we jump out of here, guys, let me go ahead and thank the fans out there who have actually listened to the show on a week-to-week basis. Definitely appreciate you so much, as that has helped drive this content to the show. Want to go ahead and thank the sponsors out there who have put sponsorship on this show. Definitely appreciate that. And I want to go ahead and thank the folks out there who have housed the podcast, whether it has been Spotify or YouTube, where you can go ahead and like and subscribe and follow that show. And so until the next show, guys, this is Rico. This is Real Talk Sports, guys. I'll see you guys on the next show. I'm out. Take care. Peace. Peace.